Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show. Listen, I'm glad to have you guys here today. I'm going to tell you, I was thinking about this last night. When's the hyperinflation coming? And I was thinking about their new banking for all policies and everything that they're trying to get through in the government, and they're going to probably push them through at the end of this year. And next year is when they're going to start trying to implement these systems. I was thinking about this. This also gives us the time scale of the hyperinflation. Has it come to me? It gives us the time scale of the hyperinflation. It also it helps us to understand how and when our exit strategies for silver, and what those exit strategies might be. Because I'm going to tell you what, if you wait until they're able to close this door completely and get rid of cash, cash is gone. Now picture a world where cash is gone. Then you'll still have choices with your silver and gold, what you do with it. You could decide just to keep it. And because their system at that point, once they've got to the point where they've got rid of cash completely and everybody's on a digital wallet, you might not want to jump into their system at all. First off, you'd have to pay their big excise tax on your gold and silver. But the second thing is, you might not want to go back into their system because it's going to be hyperinflating at that point, losing value at an incredible speed. You might not want to go back in. You might want to keep your silver outside of their system as like a reserve bank account of your own, and that doesn't mean, just because you don't go into their system, doesn't mean that silver and gold's not useful to you as a store of wealth. In fact, it might be the biggest mistake in the world to go into their system because it might be hyperinflating so bad and it's going to crash and burn. I mean, if you had a car on the edge of a cliff and they were going to drive that car off the cliff into the canyon, would you want to get inside the car? Well, that's the same way as getting back into their old system. Their system, a hyperinflating system. And, when they go and they drive that car off the cliff, their new digital system, it's going to do away with the debt. All of the big problems that we have stemming up around this debt. When they hyperinflate that and it becomes more and more worthless all the time, they're going to be able to send people out money. It's going to be no big deal. UBI, whatever. It's going to be no big deal because the money's going to be hyperinflating. Send them all they want. It's just going to help get rid of the debt. The more debt they create at that point helps to get rid of the older debt. Extinguishes it. Because think about it. When you get it to the point where an egg costs like $10,000, and then the next day it's $10,500, and the next day it's $11,500, and so on, and it starts going faster and faster and faster. At a certain point, that old debt of so many trillion becomes meaningless because they'll be printing that much every afternoon. It gets to a certain point where, in the end, it just becomes so ridiculous that they have to scrap that at the end of the road for their digital system. They have to scrap the old digital system and go to a new digital system. So there's going to be transition periods here. First transition period is going to be them moving into their new digital system. It's going to require a lot of teaching. They're going to have to put commercials on TV training people how to use these new digital wallets. The elderly especially. And then the actual movement into these digital wallets. It's all going to take time, folks. It's going to take time to get rid of the dollar as a physical form, in the form of cash. It's going to take time. It's going to be a slow process. They just can't snap their fingers in one day and say, hey, okay, we're going to get rid of all cash. There'd be such an uproar. They have to progress that slowly over a period of months, perhaps even several years. So what we're talking about here is a transition over into their system. But once they get their system fully established, and I'm thinking to myself probably takes them 2 years. So you're going to have time here, guys. It's not going to be an overnight thing. You're going to have time. You're going to see it coming. You're going to have time to decide what you want to do as far as an exit strategy is concerned for gold and silver. Okay, that being said, let's get started. Let's open up the charts right here and take a look at what's going on. The silver price today, $27.38. It's down 70 cents on the day. Okay, and now what we're going to take a look at is gold. Let me see here, get the gold going. Gold's $19.43. It's down $26 on the day. I'm going to tell you guys, gold and silver right now represent the only real foundation behind the whole world's financial system. And it's such a tiny little foundation. They build a house on sand. And there's only one little part of that sand under there that's got a little rock base that they can get a toehold on. And that's gold and silver. This whole big house of cards is all built on sand. And so, this gold and silver is in the end is going to become, because it's already the foundation of the world's financial system. I mean, how high can the price go in hyperinflating currencies? You can't put a limit on how high the price can go in this stuff. This is all going to be very interesting to say the least. And you guys are in for a front row seat to see what happens. And if you're holding gold and silver, then you got an A ticket to watch this show that's going to happen. And you're going to have periods where you're going to have to decide what you want to do. Do you want to exit the gold and silver? You want to hang on to it? You're going to have the decision of what you decide to do and when you decide to do it. Anyway, let's take a look now at cryptocurrencies. 367 billion, and it's 57.1% Bitcoin dominance. And we're looking at a Bitcoin price today of $11,346. So she crested 12,000 yesterday. Now she's back down to 11,300, where she's been for a long time. Bitcoin basically it's been following gold and silver. If gold and silver goes down, Bitcoin goes down. If gold and silver goes up, that's a day up, Bitcoin goes up. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? It tells you that cryptocurrencies is starting to become in the same asset class. They're falling into the same slot as gold and silver. That's what it tells you. Dow Jones Industrial Average today, it's up 169 points. Now, you see, Dow Jones is not moving with gold and silver. Dow Jones is up. Gold, silver, and crypto's down today. But the Dow's up 169 points. So, it's not the same asset class. That's what it tells you, because this is moving independently of gold and silver. A cryptocurrency, gold and silver now are fitting into that same cog in the financial system. But Dow Jones is not. It's moving independently. Let's take a look here at crude oil. Crude oil's dropping off today. It's down $1.04, 2.43% at 41.72. It's dropping rather sharply today, and there's quite a bit of volume. Look at that, the bouncing volume. Little something going on with crude oil. Haven't checked it out yet to see what's going on. A little something that's creating volatility there in the market. Let's take a look at bonds and rates today. We're looking at the long end falling and the short end rising, and whenever I see that happen, I think yield curve control. Now that I know that they're having to do yield curve control to keep the long end yields from rising too high, I think today is one of those days. And I'll tell you what, when I think they're doing yield curve control, when you see it at the 5-year, everything from the 5-year out to the 30-year starts to fall in yields on a particular day, then I think they're doing yield curve control. That's what I think. Okay, U.S. dollar index today, 92.77. We're seeing a very slowly rising dollar today. It's been rising all day. It started the day down around, was it 92.24? And now it's 92.77 later in the day, Listen, guys, thank you for listening to my show. Like and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. We'll catch you guys in the very next episode. Bye-bye.